Hi there, this is Linda from Linda Loves Creating, and welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new here. Today I'm going to take you along with me on a cozy weekend in January 2025. I'm going to clean my fountain pens, do some journaling, run some errands, and just live life. Let's go ahead and dive right in. Happy Saturday. I'm so excited to film a vlog with you on just a normal winter weekend. This morning I had a slow start. It had snowed a little bit over the night. It wasn't really enough to pile up, but it was just a light dusting. I baked scones and had my breakfast and did a little bit of journaling before we headed out to the grocery store to get some groceries for the next couple of weeks. Good morning. So it is 11:30 and I've had a pretty busy morning already. I already sat down and did a little bit of journaling this morning. I'm going to open into my planner here. Okay, so this is my A5 Take a Note planner, which is my everyday carry for 2025. And this gives you a daily column per day. And it also has a weekly space like this. So today is a Saturday, and you can see some days I don't need this because these 2 days I was in the office. I was actually in the office this day too, but I used it as like a weekly tracker. So my plan for this is to use this for my daily task list, but it will also, these empty ones will be good for whenever I need like a random project list. So I did a little bit of planning last night. Made a note to myself to film this vlog this morning and smeared it, of course. So I am going to go ahead and just kind of update where I am so far this morning with you guys here. So I'm doing a lot less tracking this year, but I am doing just some like minimal tracking in the week of certain things I want to track. Sometimes I might switch this up. The other thing I am tracking is at the very beginning in here, there is, let's see, this tracker. So I'm doing my steps and my activity. So activities are like specific workouts that I'm doing. I started the year sick, so I haven't really been doing much. It's also super, super cold where I live. So getting outside and doing some of the things in January just isn't really going to happen that much. I set it up for the first 3 months and I have my key here, so I'm adding to that. Then let's see here. Oh, I need to just check off things that I've done. So these are just tasks for this week. Today I did groceries this morning. I'm just gonna write that in here. And then this evening, I have to go to the Verizon store and the Apple store with my daughter. She wants to get a new phone. So that's on my list, annoyingly. I just had to cover, I had some personal notes for like, I had my property tax information and some student loan information and stuff about paying off my daughter's phone. So like financial stuff, but just so you get an idea of the types of things that I am noting in here. So this morning I got ready, I baked scones. I finalized my grocery list. We went and got groceries. So I did all of that. And then, so now I have a few things I want to do this afternoon. And then I had made a list here of the kinds of things I want to include today on this vlog. So I've been doing these vlogs, if you're new here, every couple months or so, and just kind of taking you along with me on a weekend in my life. So I'm just trying to keep in mind not being too repetitive. I didn't share my scone baking process this morning because I've done that in a previous one. I also want to note, like, when I do videos here at my desk that are not vlogs, I have like studio lighting that I do, but for a vlog, I try to keep it more natural so you can kind of just see what it's like for me living my life, which is why the lighting is what it is. So that's pretty much where I am with this. What I need to do this morning is finish just kind of catching up on all of my journals and planners. And then I need to clean my fountain pens. So one of the things I wanted to share on this video was my fountain pens. And I recently got into them, so I have 5 fountain pens. And one of the things with fountain pens is you have to keep them clean, and you can't just keep them inked up all the time. So I'm thinking once a month, I wanna just like clean all my fountain pens, change out the inks. And so I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna go through really quickly what I have here. I have 2 TWSBI Ecos that are fine, but these are not very fine. They are, they're definitely not that fine. This one is inked with like a darker blue, and this one is inked with a lighter blue. I have this Sailor, which is a fine, but this one is actually very fine and is inked with a black. And then this is a Lamy pen that my friend Jen gave me, and it was inked with something brown, but I think it kind of dried up in there, so I definitely need to clean that one out. And this one is brand new. I just got this one on Amazon. It is super cute, also recommended by my friend Jen. So I think I'm gonna do is I'm going to clean all of these out, and I'm gonna ink one of these up with black so I can have like a thick black. And I think I'm gonna ink up my new one and keep these other ones just clean for this month. And so I have just 2 to pull from. And I think that will be more usable. I was using fountain pens a ton, and then I got some Energel Clenna pens, and I've kind of gotten back into gel pens. I also got some new Sarasa Clip vintage pens, and I've been using those. But for most of my journaling, I've been using my Energel Clenna. So I'm gonna go ahead, do some journaling, catch up my planners and everything, and then I'm probably gonna take you with me to go wash these pens and see what else I need to do today. Like I said, it is 11:30. I don't really have anything I have to do until 4 o'clock. Well, I have to leave before 4. So I'm gonna craft, I'm going to journal, I'm probably gonna play some video games, and I probably want to do a few other chores, actually. I'm gonna mark a few things in here. I need to do the cat box. And I want to vacuum, but I'm not sure if I'm gonna get to that today. I also have all day tomorrow, which I will share with you here as well. So I'm gonna go ahead, put some music on, do a little bit of voiceover, and go through my routine here, and then clean out my pens. first thing I always start with in my journaling routine is the weekly spread in my Hobonichi Kaizen. In this spread, I keep track of the factual things of what happened for the day. Sometimes I will put my mood or something, but very like overview of what happened. And I decorate it with stickers. I use primarily the Coffee Monster Co. stickers, but I've been trying to mix it up and add stickers from some other companies. I've recently picked some up from Once More with Love and Salam Creative, and I have an order coming from Hubman and Chub Girl, which I'm excited to add into the mix. If anyone knows of any other small brands that make these cute little stickers, let me know, drop it in the comments, and I will check it out because I'd like to mix up the stickers that I use. This spread I use as reference for when I am working on my Project Life album. So I will have that to look back on to see what I did. So it's not just to be cute, but that is primarily my goal when I do my journaling, is that at the bare minimum, I'm going to do the weekly spread. I decided not to add anything else to my daily at this point and moved into the kitchen to work on cleaning my fountain pens. So I want to disclaimer by saying I am by no means an expert at fountain pens. I just started getting into them last year. I got my first one for my birthday in October, and I'm just slowly learning as I go. So to clean my pens, the first step that I did was I saved any ink and I kind of expelled ink that I had left into bottles of ink that I had for the inks that I purchased. And then I'm just rinsing everything out in the sink. I am going to use water from the fridge, which has gone through a filter for the majority of the cleaning. But to get the like larger chunks and stuff off and just like get like them a little bit rinsed, I'm using the sink because it's just so much easier. But I am getting a cup of water from the fridge. And basically what I'm doing is I'm pulling the water up and then expelling it into the sink. And I'm going to do this a few times, and I will change out my water to get cleaner water. And I'm just making sure to rinse it off the sink. I really should have gotten the dishes done out of the sink first, but that's okay. And I'm just going to go through this process. This takes quite a bit of time and a lot of patience, just to get it all cleaned out. But basically, my goal is to rinse everything out as much as possible before refilling the pens. Okay, so while I'm working on cleaning out my pens, you can see this is quite a repetitive process, but I did want to talk a little bit about if you are interested in getting into fountain pens. So there are definitely people on the internet who are way more experts at fountain pens. Like I said, I just barely got started on this hobby, but I do highly recommend it. They're super fun. I love the idea of being able to make your own combination of ink and pen, and every pen and every ink seems to react a little bit differently. So here I went through the pens that I have, but if you are new to pens, I highly recommend a TWSBI Eco, which are the two that I have that are the white and blue kind of tips, or the one that I purchased off Amazon, which is some like discount brand. Both of those are good starter pens because they are very cheap or affordable. I guess they're not super cheap for a pen. They're more expensive than a gel pen. But I wouldn't recommend purchasing a Sailor or something like that for your first pen. The one that I have was a gift, but it is a very nice pen, and I can definitely tell the quality difference, but it's not worth the investment, especially if you're new to pens. Once you get your first pen, I would recommend picking out an ink that is a color that you like to use pretty regularly. For me, that was a dark blue or a black, and I'm happy that I have those to work with. After I finished clearing out these pens, I put the ones to the side to dry that I'm not going to fill, and I'm going to fill these two pens with inks. I'm going to fill this Eco, the TWSBI Eco, with black. This is a super dark black ink. And then the other pen I have, I'm filling with this dark blue that I really, really love. I was just rinsing it out a little because this was a brand new pen, so I didn't clean it, but I did want to rinse it slightly before loading it. And then once you load them up, you want to wipe off the tip and get excess ink off of it. And then I have this pad of Tomoe River paper that I'm using just to test the pens out, especially the TWSBI Eco. I feel like it bleeds a bunch when you first start using it after you load it in the pen. So I'm always going to write for a bit on this other paper before I start using it in my actual journal. So the rest of my Saturday was pretty busy. I went to the mall with my daughter to help her buy a new iPhone, and then came home, had dinner, went through my evening routine, which is usually watching a show with my boyfriend, having a little ice cream, and working on my cross stitch, and then getting in bed. And I journal a bit more in bed and check in with my planners. I didn't film that process. I'm thinking about a way to film it in the future, but I have a little desk that I use in bed. And I also played with my cat, as you can see here. Good morning, happy Sunday. I am here at my desk. I've got my coffee. It is 8:50 in the morning, and I just went through my morning routine. I showered, I had breakfast, then I came in here to finish off my coffee. I topped it off, obviously, and I'm going to check in with my journals and planners to start my day. So I'm going to start with my planner here. And let's see, for this, I actually need my phone to figure out what steps I did yesterday. I don't know that I had 10,000, but I didn't do any working out. My goal is to do some yoga again today, but I'll have to update that later. Then let's go here to the week. So I'm gonna finish my little tracker here. I did read last night, and then this morning I am planning. So let's go here. So I came in, so yesterday afternoon, I intended to do more filming than I did in the afternoon, but that's okay. After I washed my pens, I spent some time relaxing. Well, I did some photo editing for Project Life, printed out some photos. I relaxed and played on my Nintendo Switch. Actually, you know what? I can show you guys in here because I did this. I filled this in. So I did some spreadsheeting. I did my finances. I have some finances stuff to do for the new year and tax projections. I did some chores. I relaxed and played on my Switch. And then I went to the mall. I had this on my task list here to go to Verizon and Apple. My daughter wanted to buy a new iPhone 16 Pro. I didn't think that was the best investment for her, but she's 19 and that's what she wanted to do. So I needed to go because she's on my phone account. So we went down to the mall and did that. And then my boyfriend and I picked up some subs for dinner. We ate dinner. I watched some TV, relaxed, did some cross stitching. And then I went to bed and I did some journal. I usually do some journaling in bed and then reading before I go to sleep. So I checked in with this and checked off the things that I finished. I added in that she got her new iPhone there. So one thing I want to share for this, and I haven't really figured this out yet, but my plan for this is to make this an index. And a lot of the times this is just going to be a to-do list for the day, but I'm going to put notes here if there's anything of reference. So here behind this note, I have some property tax information and information on my student loans. So I just put that in here, and I'm thinking I might add some colors. For day 3, I haven't put anything yet. I will probably use this for a list when I need an extra list space. I also have some space here on the 31st, but that one doesn't have a reference. So I'm not sure what I'll use that one for. And then for yesterday, I'm going to write in here vlog and Summer's phone. I think it might be important to remember when she bought the new phone. So then I'm going to plan out today. So let's see, I'm going to start. I haven't really been doing a ton of decoration in here. I started adding a few stickers because I thought it was fun, and I've been doing more like lettering, but I don't want to add like a ton of stuff because I don't want a lot of bulk in here. I was thinking of maybe adding some washi at some point. I pulled this one out last night, but I didn't end up using it. So I think I'm not going to add washi. I'm going to just go ahead and add my title. I might want to do some color though. This is the pen that I used there. So I think I'm probably going to use that one. I'm not sure I'm going to do some outlining though. I'm just going to. Okay. And then I use my bullet point clean colored dot marker to do my bullets. So today is more of a quiet day at home. I had wanted to do some cleaning this morning, but I just didn't do it. I think I'm gonna focus more on crafting. I'm gonna migrate some things. I didn't treat my nails. I really need to do that. If you guys have been following my channel for a while, you know I usually have my nails painted and they've just been so damaged. I've been leaving them unpainted, but I've been trying to treat them. I have this nail takes formula and it actually helps them prevent them to break and peel and stuff, but I have to do it every day and I'm really bad at that. So I'm gonna try to do that today. And then let's see, I want to finish my 2024 Hobonichi so I can film that flip through and get that put away. So I'm actually just going to film the flip through of December. This is my 2024 Hobonichi cousin. It's so chunky. I'm ready to put this on the shelf. There's just a few gaps in December. I like to fill in a few gaps before I film it because once I film it, then I'm like, okay, that's done. I will film a full flip through of the entire thing, probably to share in February though, when I have a little more space on my YouTube channel. So I try to share about 3 videos a week, but with December daily, it's been taking up a lot of space in terms of those videos. I don't have the time to do more than 3 videos a week, but there's more things I want to share. So I'm thinking that the full Hobonichi flip will come in February. December will come this month. And then let's see, I want to do some Project Life. And then I actually want to film my first week of Project Life 2025, which is this week. And I normally don't film it during the week, but I want to have a nice solid start to that album, so I'm going to probably do that. I want to print media, which I did not do yesterday. So I think that's like the crafting stuff I want to do. Oh, I also wanted to maybe do my commonplace because I wanted to share some of this stuff with you guys. So I'm going to do 3 more things. I want to plan next week. I want to update my commonplace. And I wanted to do some stamp organization. So those are all the craft things I wanted to do this morning. And then I'm gonna leave a little bit of a gap and I'm gonna create another list. And these are like other tasks I need to do. So I want to clean up my craft room. I need to check for painting stuff. So I'm going to start repainting my craft room next weekend. So I just need to make sure I have all of the stuff I need. I already have the paint, but I might need like rollers and that kind of stuff. I need to vacuum. I need to go to Target. And potentially Home Depot. I'm just going to write that. And then I wanted to film an update of my craft room. So I'm working on a craft room redo and I'm just barely starting it. And I'm going to share that with you guys here on my YouTube channel. I'm going to go ahead and film that in a couple of chunks. The first chunk is like getting started, where my starting point was, and painting and doing like the big stuff. And then I'm going to work on like the micro organization and that type of stuff. So I need to kind of film an update of where my room is now before I start painting, because I have been filming this over the past few months. So the first of these videos will probably come out in February, but we'll see. Stay tuned. There will be some craft room update videos for sure. So I think that's a good list for today. As far as timing, I have a pretty full schedule here. Other than going to Target, it's pretty much just staying home. I had wanted to kind of clean the bathrooms and stuff, but I just don't see space for that in here. And I am just going to prioritize my crafting over cleaning. If the house was like pretty bad, then I would prioritize cleaning. But it's okay. It can wait another week. And I do want to vacuum though and clean up a little bit and just do like some tidying, which I have in my tracker here. So one of the things I track is pick up, which I've gotten some questions what that means. And that means pick up the house. So just kind of walk around and make sure there's no clutter anywhere and stuff. So I do that pretty regularly, but I try to track that. I'm thinking I might do a list here of craft room redo stuff, but I'm not going to do that right at this moment. I'm going to go ahead and put this one aside and work on some of my other journals. So let's see here. This is my stack. This is my longer form journaling. And I just worked on this last night. I just need to add my date stamp because I don't bring my, I do some journaling in bed and I don't bring my stamp with me. So I just need to go ahead and add in this stamp here. And I only add to this when I just have like extra stuff to journal about and I've already filled in my daily page. So then let's go in. So this one, I don't actually need to add anything in. This is like schedule stuff only, or notes from when I'm away from home and need to update, but I didn't have anything I needed to do. This is my health one. And I generally just don't want to share this one online, but I did have a couple notes to make in it. So I will make those once I turn the camera off. At some point I might share this if I have like a week where there's just like no personal notes, but I'm going to go ahead and start this. So I left some gaps here because I did order some New Year's Eve stickers and they didn't come yet. So I'm leaving space for that. But typically I just go ahead and add stickers in while I write out my schedule in here. By schedule, I guess this is not really my schedule. This is my what happened. And I kind of ran out of space yesterday because it was a very full day. Today, let's see, I started with sleeping in a little bit. So I know I have a sleep in one. Most of my stickers are from the Coffee Monster Co. And for the longest time, I was using only Coffee Monster Co. stickers. And I want to kind of branch out. I really want to include some other brands. I picked up some here. These are from Salam Creative. Let me show you Salam Creative. I also have some from Once More with Love. There's a few other small shops I want to order from. I have some coming from Hubman and Chub Girl. So I want to start kind of branching out and adding more in here. I also like to cut stickers out of washi, which was an idea that I kind of got from my friend Jen. I think I was maybe thinking about it on my own. I don't remember, but my friend Jen from Jen Boom Creates does that in her journaling often. And it's a good way to get some additional stickers. So like this little calendar was cut out of a washi tape. And they're also all washi, so it's super thin. So I'm going to go ahead and update today so far. Okay, so there's that. I do want to set up the new week. Let's see, should I do that now? I guess I can go ahead and do this now. So next week, what I've been doing is kind of picking a washi to go across the top. And then I want to also add in what my kit is and a place for highlights, because that tends to be what I use the column for. I kind of thinking maybe I should use it for something else, but I don't have a great idea at the moment. So let me see. I think I might want to use some Cocoa Daisy. Okay, so here's my Cocoa Daisy Nordic Nights collection, which was the January collection. So let me see where are my sticker sheets. Here's all my sticker sheets for Hobonichi. So this is my cousin sticker kit. And I think I want to use one of these here because this kit is gorgeous. And I also could maybe use some day headers. Okay, so let's see. I'm thinking I want to maybe use this Hello January one. This one is so gorgeous though. So these fit right over here to cover this up if you don't want this little calendar. I love that pattern too. I feel like that's one of my favorite patterns of all time. These washies are so cute, but they don't, it's not like enough to go. I wish I had this one, this house one, as an actual roll. But so it's not enough to go all the way across. And I think there's also washies on here, but I have actual washi tapes. I'm trying to think, where did I put those? I actually put those in with my washi. And you know what? I think that actually looks nice. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that. I'm gonna put this in here. It is super cold where I live. It's probably gonna snow this week. But if not, it's still gonna be cold enough to snow. It's been snowing a lot lately, but not like piling up, just been little like flurries here and there. So that might be what we're getting today too. And into next week, but that looks good. And then I kind of want to add these. I think I'm gonna add these circle ones so that I don't have to replace the number. And then this week, I like these for like the highlights. And then let's see. I use one of these little labels down here to put my kit. Use this one with the stripes. I kind of want one of those patterns, but they're also big. You know what? I'm just gonna do it. I like this pattern with ones that I've chosen. And these label boxes fit perfectly if you wanted to do labels in the middle of your spread. I don't do that because I fill this with what happened. And then I need to know what my kit is. So I'm gonna go in here to my Project Life tab. And this is, I'm gonna actually use the Nordic Nights collection. So that's perfect. I used it in here too, but I'm also gonna use it for my Project Life. So that's great. And obviously that day hasn't started yet, so I'm gonna leave that. And let's go to my dailies. So I left this gap here because I need to print some media. So maybe I'm gonna go ahead and do that this morning. I'm gonna start my journaling. I probably will print some media. And yeah, that's pretty much it for my journal check-in this morning. Oh, I took this guy off. I need to put this back. I had to take him off to put the stickers. And I might even want to, so I haven't really added to my monthly since the 1st. So I might actually work on that some too and go through and pick some stuff out. Just kind of doing little like journaling tasks. So I'm gonna go ahead and start my day here, and then I'm going to probably do some printing of media first thing, but my goal is to probably do some crafting and stuff this morning. I'll probably do some Project Life, and then from there, we'll see where we end up. Okay, I started my Sunday with coffee and scones and printing media for my journal. This is a practice that I tend to do about once a week, but I would like to do a bit more. And I shared my process for this in one of my prior vlogs for how I actually go about editing and printing media. So I will link that in the description box below if you're interested in it, along with the vlog that shares my scones recipe if you're interested in that one as well. But I printed out a page of media and I cropped them all out, and I'm going to go about working on my journal and adhering these things where they go. So generally with the media, I will print things that I will add into my journal. You can see I left a space on yesterday's journal page to add in this one meme from the Coffee Monster Co. It was super cute. And then on Sunday, I'm going to add some in here as well. I'm going to do my journaling for Sunday, or at least start my journaling for Sunday. And then I'm going to spend some time working on some of the gaps in my 2024 Hobonichi cousin. It is now, the first weekend of January, and my goal is to finish up December in my Hobonichi cousin from last year and finish up that journal. I usually spend a couple of days after the end of the month filling in gaps, but I don't like to go back beyond that. I tend to journal every day, but I don't always fill every page. Here I have my stickers in this tin here, so I'm going through to add some of those in, and I'm just going to go about my journaling routine. After I do some journaling for this morning, I put my journal to the side and I'm going to pull out my 2024 Hobonichi cousin and work on filling in gaps in there. My goal in my Hobonichi cousin is to journal a full page every day. However, realistically, that does not always happen. It usually happens on days that I am home. So when I work from home or when I have the day off. But on the days that I go to the office, it's much rarer because I really only have journaling time in the evening. And writing a full page does take some time. And I prefer to do it not in one sitting. So towards the end of every month, I tend to go back and work on filling in gaps within that month. So right now I'm working on filling in the gaps in December while I'm filming this vlog, but I have wrapped that up now and I have already shared a flip through of December in my Hobonichi cousin here on my channel. If you're interested in seeing that, I will leave a link for that below. A lot of the time what my gaps are including media. So partway through the year in 2024, I realized that I did have a lot of gaps in here and I wanted to document my media, but I didn't really have the bandwidth to do an additional journal for media. So what I decided to do is kind of combine the two and fill the gaps in my journaling with media reviews. So these are TV shows, movies, and books that I have read or watched, and sometimes I will include more details. Other times I won't include that much at all, just depending on how I'm feeling and what I have to say about it. I put some movies here. I like to put movies on the day I actually watch them, if possible, but that's not always the case. So on Christmas Eve, we watched The Silence of the Lambs. So I'm reviewing that on there. I have seen this movie before, but I just wanted to reflect on it and on this viewing of it. And then we kind of got into like a Hannibal Lecter phase. So we watched a lot of the related movies and we're currently watching the TV show. So I have been reflecting on those in my journals as well. For books, I tend to do more detailed reviews because I usually have more to say. I spend more than one day with a book, and I try to include it on one of the days around when I finish it. If I don't put the movie or the book on the actual date that I finish it, I tend to add a rolling date stamp just to give myself a little bit more context as to when I watched or read the media. So you can see as I'm working on all of this media backfill that I had previously printed and added all of the media covers to my journal. So what I do to get my media covers is I just do a Google image search and I find the cover or the poster or whatever it is I'm looking for, and I just print it out. I'm sizing them to fit in my journal, so they don't really have a uniform size that much, but what I'm doing is I'm printing them to be 1.75 inches high. I don't know that that really matters. I feel like some of them end up being different sizes just because their dimensions are not the same, but I feel like that's a good size to kind of fit it in here where you can still see the cover, but it's not taking up way too much space on the page. I used to kind of not work these into my journal entries so much and have them sort of stand alone in their own style. But my friend Jen Boom Creates on Instagram had been adding some of her media into her journal, and I liked how she kind of wove it in to the rest of her journal spread. So I used that same style to kind of influence how I'm including my media this towards the second half of 2024 and how I'm going to be doing it in 2025. I'm taking a break from journaling to add some different things in because my hand gets tired from writing for so long. So when I have a gap from doing one of the journaling pieces and I need to give my hand a break, I will use that time to kind of go through and figure out what else I'm going to add. I had gone through and printed and added the media covers in here previously because when I get behind on printing media covers and I have a lot I want to include, I'm just going to go through and print them all at once. And I know what I watched when because I include that in my weekly spreads at the time that I actually do it. So then I was looking at my weekly spreads to figure out where I wanted to include each of these in the daily pages. So like I said earlier, I try to include it on the page for the day that I actually watched the movie. For a book or something that takes more than one day, obviously I have a range to play around with and find a place for it. But if a movie was watched on a day and then I had filled that journaling page, I will just add it to a gap near there. And usually if that's the case, I will use a rolling date stamp to add the date. At this point, I didn't actually add dates for some of these because I felt like it didn't really matter that much what day I watched them. It was just kind of that I watched these movies. I watched more movies than usual in December because I was watching some of the holiday themed, rom-coms on Netflix and such, and a lot of them were really bad. So I didn't really have a ton to say about them. So here you can see I have like 3 of them that were all together, and I just wanted to just make note that I watched these, but I didn't feel the need to journal about all of them, which is totally fine. I don't have to reflect on every single thing that I watched or read. Whatever I decide to put in here is more than enough. In December, though, I did watch and read more stuff than I normally do because of all these holiday movies, but it worked out because I had a lot of gaps to fill in my journal. I also usually don't have this much back journaling to do at once, but December was a busy month, so I had a lot that I needed to do. After spending a decent amount of time in my 2024 journal, I moved on to my 2025 journal, and I'm just filling in some of the gaps in here as well, in addition to adding some journaling to today. I took a break from my craft room. We went and ran some errands, and then I made myself some bruschetta and sourdough for lunch that I enjoyed. I spent some time just relaxing. I played some video games on my Nintendo Switch, and we had picked up some stuff from Target for the reading room, so I added that in there. You can see the green boxes stacked on top of each other. Those were for something that we just picked up. Plus, we also picked up some new candles to add into the reading room. It is definitely a work in progress. And then I went back to my desk and journaled about my morning and everything that I had done so far this day. I don't always have time to check in with my journal periodically throughout the day, but I really like when I do that because I feel way more relaxed with that kind of break between activities to kind of just check in and reflect on what happened rather than just moving from one thing to the next. After some journaling, the next thing I spent some time on was my commonplace notebook. I get a lot of questions about how often I update this or if I'm still doing it. So I wanted to do it while I was filming this vlog so that I could share with you guys how it's going. If you don't know what this is, I have shared some videos in the past, which I will link in the description box below, about my commonplace notebook. But essentially, this is a place to just keep all of those random notes and bits of life that I want to remember that I don't really have another place to put them. So not really things for in my journal. Sometimes I do have some overlap, but these are like important, just kind of like helpful hints, information, about things, factoids, quotes, all sorts of random things. I use color-coded dots to identify the categories so you can see my key there. And earlier in this video, what I was doing was kind of outlining which ones are from which roles, because there's so many colors I have that it's hard to keep track of which one is for what. So I was just kind of helping myself with a key. But I'm just copying over all of the details that I wanted to add into my commonplace book. So where do I get the information is another question that I get. So basically, a lot of the things that I capture that I want to include in my commonplace book are things I have seen on the internet or elsewhere in my life. And I digitize all of those things by either taking a screenshot or a photo of whatever it is that I want to document. And then I have a folder on my computer which holds everything that I want to add to my commonplace notebook. Whenever I have an opportunity that I feel like updating my commonplace notebook, I will open that folder on my computer, which I have open right now as I'm working on this, and I will review things from there and copy them down into my commonplace notebook. I tend to work on this maybe like an hour at a time. I think I didn't do a full hour here. It's pretty much, I just work on it until my hand gets tired. In addition to copying things, you can see I also add things that I print out, like that color chart. Usually I prefer to copy it over because it's kind of a relaxing activity just to practice my handwriting and enjoy just like processing whatever it is I'm writing. But other times I will print it out, especially if it's something like that color chart where it's super cute and it would be too hard for me to copy it over because I don't necessarily have all of those colors, or I'd have to locate all of them. So I'm just copying things in here and just relaxing while I do this. I tend to update this about once a month, or sometimes even less. I don't really put any pressure on myself as to when I update it. This commonplace notebook I started in the beginning of 2024, and honestly, I'm only about like 10 pages in, and that's totally fine. I just added 2025 to it, and I will keep adding to this same notebook until it gets full before I move on to another one, even if it takes more than like 5 years, which I think at the pace I'm going, it'll probably take about 5 years to fill one book. But it really depends. Sometimes I update it multiple times a month. Other times I will go a couple months without updating. It really, I put no pressure on it. I have so many journals and planners in my lineup, and I love them and I enjoy them. But one of the ways that I keep up with it is that I don't put pressure on myself to update all of my journals and planners all of the time. Instead, I wait until I have some quiet time on a weekend and I feel like working through my commonplace notebook. Thank you guys so much for being here. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them down below. And as always, I hope to see you guys all in the next one. Thanks. Bye.